Doing a little audio check here before we go live with the stream. Well, I guess technically I'm live right now, but I'm doing audio checks. Back here. Okay, that looks better. All right. All right, gonna mute myself for a few more minutes and then we'll get started here in about 5. All right, we will get this started. I'm going to watch the stream since it's telling me the stream health is a little low, so hopefully everything is going to run okay for you guys as you're watching it. But hello, folks. I'm Matt Goins. I am with the WiscWeb team. Most of you know me, know my voice. Maybe don't remember my face too much, but maybe soon. So this is just going to be one of those. I talked about them last time. We kind of did it with the WP data tables a month ago when we updated that. But this is just like a little learn with me kind of session where I'm going to take something that I'm either trying to get more familiar with or not very familiar with at the moment. And I guess just kind of learn it along with you guys and kind of talk through some best practices and things like that. So today's topic is going to be the Redirection plugin. We have been getting a few requests coming in about using this, and I figured it would be a good time to just kind of chat. I don't imagine that we'll take the full hour for this, but as we tinker around with this and you all have questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. Okay, so I'm just trying to move some things around here. Sorry. All right, let me get this over here. Let's switch to this scene right now. All right, so the Redirection plugin is a WordPress plugin that we have made available for you all to be self-activated. And so you activate it by going over to the plugins section within your site. And I can see that that is blurry on the YouTube channel there. I wonder why that is. My connection's fine. I don't know that I want to be doing too much troubleshooting right now. I see what the issue is. 4,500. Okay. Give me a hot second here because I'm going to try and get this right. Because I can see where the issue is at. Troubleshooting live. Okay. It's looking a little bit better. Hopefully that'll start to clean up a little bit there. Okay. So Redirection, it is one of the plugins that you have the ability to activate yourself. We have a little bit of KB document knowledge out there, but most of the time we will have you go to the plugin page. I need to update that because what I would have you do is go to this support page right here and kind of go through some of these things within here. So what is the purpose of a plugin? Or I'm sorry, a plugin, geez, a redirection. When you are building out your site or when you are migrating your site into another service, the issue that you'll run into is that some of the URLs may not match. And what you can do is you can do a couple of things. One is you can create a custom 404 page to sort of encourage people to be aware of the fact that things have changed. They should try to look at different menus, etc., things like that. But the other thing is that you can create redirects to point people that are looking at an old URL and instead automatically redirect them to the new URL. And this works pretty slick with the Redirection plugin. So let's talk a little bit about what the 404 error page would be like, because I think that's a quick and easy thing to look at as well. So within your site, you can add a new page. You can just call it, let's say 404 error page. We'll just call it that. Hide you. I'm sorry, the content you are looking for doesn't exist at this page. Please use our search to find what you're looking for. So you could center that. I can put an image in right above it. I brought this in. Okay. We'll want that to be, let's go full size. Boy, that is too big. We'll go custom size there. Bold that. And then another thing that we have is there is a shortcode for, let me increase the size. So we have this KB doc here. It's 80114. And there is the ability for you to place the search bar within a text editor. So if I real quick center this, that's too low. And then I'll publish this. And if we take a look at it, there you go. So I've got a, not sure why it's that color. I've got this image, I'm sorry, this isn't what you're looking for. Please use the search. And there's that. So I've created this custom 404 page. I'm going to take that off to link to the media because I don't want that to be the case. So I have this custom 404 error page. It's nothing exciting. Update that because I don't want that weird gray background to be up there, and I'm not sure why it's appearing up there, but I'll do this to get around that. And so now what I can do is once I've set up my this custom 404 error page, I can go to Appearance, Customize. And then down here, again, you have to be an admin to do this. You can't do this as just an editor. I believe you have to be an admin to access this. But I can choose this custom 404 page, and I can actually choose that error page that I just created. And I'll publish that. And so now what I have is, if I go to, let me make sure I don't have a page that's just literally called Matt. Nope. Okay. So if I go to a page that does not exist within my site, you'll get, oh, nope, let's see, it's WordPress. So here's another neat thing to learn about WordPress. This isn't a WiscWeb thing, and we've had to struggle with this in the past. Notice that when I just put in /Matt, WordPress automatically took me to my events organizer page. So WordPress has a tendency at times to try to be smarter than what you need it to be. And so it assumed that because I typed in that /Matt, oh, you meant here. And it took me to this person right here, or this, this page right here, instead of something else. So let's try, I don't know. There we go. So here's that custom 404 error page. So just, I have a picture up there. I have a message here that just says, hey, what are you doing there? And then the search bar there. So this 404 error page can be way more descriptive than what I'm putting it in here. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes because I want you to be able to see that this option exists for you. And so what a 404 error page can do is it can provide more in-depth reasoning or more in-depth ability for you to direct people into maybe other directions. One of the issues that the redirection plugin does have is the fact that it cannot redirect files. And that's one thing that we have had to answer quite a bit in the past, which is, you put a PDF into your media library. Oh, you've uploaded a new one, so you need everybody who has that old URL to now go to this new URL. The redirection plugin can't do that for like files themselves. That just doesn't work. And so a 404 error page, if you remove that file and people land on something and it's, this 404 error page will allow you to direct them to to do a little activity on their own. Just search for something in here, Obviously. So I did a search just for exist. Well, obviously my error page is the only thing that has the word exist on it, so it comes up as the answer there. So, that's what the 404 error page is for. It's good for is it's a good like catch all for things that no longer exist underneath your domain. So I wanted to touch on that first before we dove into a little bit more about the redirection plugin and some of the things to consider when you are using it. But I thought this was a good spot to just kind of again talk about the error page there. So again, just a couple things there. You do have this shortcodes KB doc if you ever wanted to kind of poke some of those things onto the error page. We also have creating a custom 404 page. So this is KB doc 73229. So again, this just walks you through that process. Again, the WiscWeb one, you guys will hopefully have seen in the past. But if I just do trumpets, there it is, and we just put some information on here. We tried to make it a little funnier, so. Some buttons to link people off to certain things that they may be interested in. So that's that. That's talking about that setup there. So now let's talk about the redirection plugin. So again, redirection plugin, there's a lot of information out here at the support site for it, redirection.me/support. So that's something that you could take a look at if you wanted to. There's a lot of things in here that I'm going through myself to try and learn. But to access your redirects, you would hover over Tools and click on Redirection. And so in here, this is where you will create your actual redirects that you want people to use. So it's pretty straightforward from this standpoint. You have a relative URL that you want to redirect from. You have a target URL that you want them to go to, and then you will add it. So if I have, let's say, for example, let's see if I can get /Matt. Now notice I don't need the full URL of my site because the plugin assumes that because I'm using this in my domain, in my site, that's the relative path that it's going to follow. So I just need to put in the end of that whole URL. I don't need the train.wiscweb.wis.edu. I just need the whatever comes after that. And then where do I want to send them from there? Well, let's see. Where can I send them? We'll send them home. Now let's send them to this page right here. So I'll copy that link location. I'll dump that into there. Again, I don't need the full value there. So once I click add redirect, there it is. /mat will redirect to the /box-embedding-test. So let's see if we can get this. We can demo this. Nope, because it has something that exists there that it automatically is doing. So I was wondering if that would work that way. So let's try /biscuits. And so you'll see what happened right there was it automatically redirected /biscuits to /box-embedding-test. So that's the general, that's the easy use of it. And so what the plugin will do is it will automatically process those things. And what you'll also notice is, and this is something that you'll want to make sure that you're watching out for as you are sort of communicating your site out, advertising your site, marketing it, however you might want to get the word out there, is it has a hits column. So it'll let you know how often this plugin is being accessed. Or, I'm sorry, plugin. I keep saying plugin when I mean the redirection because it's in my brain for some reason that way. How often this redirect is being accessed. And so that'll let you know, there's a lot of people using /biscuits. I wonder why. Have I not updated my business cards? Have I not updated some of the marketing materials that we send out? Do I have something going out in a newsletter that's the incorrect URL? That's an indicator right there for you to take a look at some of the things that you are communicating out and find out why that particular URL is being accessed. There's another conversation that we can have at some point about taking a look at Google Analytics and looking at the path that people are using to get into your site. How are they getting to that particular URL? Is it from a newsletter, or is it from like social media or something like that? But that's a grander conversation to have. So again, easy part of the redirect plugin is what is the relative URL? What is the page that they're trying to access? Where do you want them to go once they try to access it? And then add the redirect. So there are a few more advanced things in here. There are some parameters that you can put in. There is a title. So this title is basically a text title that will appear in the log. So if you had a specific title that you wanted to give to it, you could do that. The matching, you could try out some of these things. I was taking a look at these last night, trying to figure out what some of those aspects are. I don't think that we would use any of these because, one, you're not really having people access your site while they're logged in. We don't do intranets anymore, so that's one of the things that this status would kind of have there as well, with like subscriber and things like that. Role capability, again, editors and admins are the only roles that we really have for this, so there's not much to look at there. And then all these just start to get a little more advanced. But again, some of this information is available via their support page if you wanted to look into that a little bit more. You could have it do something different when this particular redirect is matched. So the default is redirect to URL. They're trying to get to this URL. You want to send them over to this URL. You could redirect them to a random post. Not really, again, depending upon your site, that might be something that you might want to send them on, but I don't know that I would ever use that. Pass through. What is pass through? Ooh, their support doesn't have a search on it, so I can't search for what that might be. I'm wondering what pass through is, because that's something that I would. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, because it looks like you can still give a target URL. So I'm wondering if this is just a different style of a redirect there, still pointing you in a particular direction. There's the error 404 page. Again, you could just send them right to your error page and then do nothing. If they hit this URL, do nothing with it. So there are some options there. I tend to just stick with my my basics right here. So underneath group, this is where you can go. And again, most of the sites that we deal with, your sites are small. You don't have a lot of subdirectories to have worried about. But we have brought in a couple of sites that I can think of. Well, I can think of one off the top of my head, and then a second one that is coming in that I just had a conversation with about yesterday. And if she's listening, this is something that I would recommend. Is you can add groups to your redirections to, I guess, manage the way that they are handled. So like, for example, the one that we had a couple of times here is, faculty sites, and I could click add. And so, if, in the past it was, I don't know if this will work. I'm going to give it a shot. But if it's like /tilde, trying to think that I always use my name, but that's not going to work with this. So let's say Gandalf. And then I want to send them to, I don't really have a lot in here to tinker with, but let's say I just want to send them, I'll just keep using this right here since it'll work. But say you want to send them to like a staff page or something like that. I don't know if this is going to work, so I'm going to give it a shot. And then I'm going to add it to faculty sites because I want to sort of keep them grouped together that way. So now let's give this a shot. Let's see if this will work. Yep, it worked. So the reason why I was using this one is because we have a site that's going to be migrating into our service in the near future, and some of these departmental sites have been around for quite some time, and they have lots of subdirectories. You have lots of faculty that have passed through or have continued on within the department, and they have been given access to building their own sites within a directory within the departmental site. Within WiscWeb, we don't have those kind of like sub-directory options. WiscWeb is you have a site. It's something.wisc.edu. We don't have something.wisc.edu/staff/ and now a staff member has their own WordPress like little environment to play around with as well. That's not the way that our service is set up. And so one of the things that you can do with this is you can put in some of those. Yep, Sarah, I wasn't going to point it out that Sarah was who I was talking to about this, because I was thinking about this after I chatted with her, because she has a lot of these tilde username type things. And so one of the things that I would start to test is, can I get and even further, what I would kind of look at, and you have probably thought of this in the conversation that we were having yesterday, is there an opportunity to put a wild card in here to sort of be the catch-all kind of thing that we were talking about yesterday, where if they hit / anything, can I just redirect them straight to a master faculty staff page? And that way they're hitting it, or you could send them off to like just a custom informational page, not the 404 error page, but like just a general information page that says, the math department website has moved to a new provider or to a new host. Pages that existed previously have been moved and may not match the same URL that you knew of in the past. Please view our faculty staff page, or use the search function to, all that kind of stuff. So that'd be something that I would take a look at as well, is to see if you could tinker around with that and see if it would work there. I'm just refreshing this. Yep. So again, as you can see, the last access, the hits, this is something that'll be good. If I go into groups, there's one redirect in there. If I view the redirects, there they are. There it is right there. Let's see. Redirects. Again, I'm there's a lot of information out there about creating redirects and redirect actions, and there's lots of stuff out there. I'd be curious to see. This is something that I'm going to poke at a little bit as well, trying to see if I can find no, wildcard is not on that page. But yeah, that'd be something to take a look at for that purpose. Okay. Site. This is not something that you should use. It's there. Don't use it. Because, so in essence, this is if you were managing your own domain and, managing the hosting aspect of this, where if you wanted to relocate your URL to an entirely different URL, that is what this thing would be for. We don't want you to use this, because if that was ever a case, and we've done this before, where somebody requests a particular domain, 3 months later they realize, that domain just doesn't work, or a new director comes in and they want to switch some things up, and so you want to request a different domain for that. What we would do is we would set this up at the server level. We wouldn't want you to have to worry about this stuff. We would set this stuff up at the server level. We would put in some different wildcard values to make sure that, if they hit this particular section of a site, it automatically would redirect to another subsection of site. We would make sure that we worked with you guys on that, because that's what we do there. Okay. So log. I'm wondering what the log function would do immediately. I'm going to take a peek real quick over at the support, because my assumption is that a log is generated here, but I wonder if this happens after the fact. Let me take a look, because we might have some of these at WiscWeb's redirection. Yeah. So I'm going to bounce out of that. So the log looks like it is going to track all of those things, but it's not updated immediately. So this would be something where I would say, kind of like Google Analytics, where it's going to capture that information immediately, but it's not going to display it immediately. This might be something that you're going to have to look at the next day and just kind of take a look at what information you're getting here. So again, source URL, target URL, IP address. There's some other information in here. the HTTP code. The HTTP code is just basically like a server level a value. So a redirect is a 301. You know, you could have your 404s in here as well. Your 404s, again, this is a similar idea. If you are generating any of those out of your setup here, you could track those as well. This kind of information also exists in analytics, because you'll if you had a custom 404 error page, you'd be able to see like how many hits it's getting. We see that a lot with WiscWeb, but it's the great amount of hits that we get from that is just people trying to access their WiscWeb site before logging into VPN, and so it always triggers an error value for them. So, okay. So import export. This is another one that is, I think, a little relevant to a certain section of groups. And again, Sarah is one of those who I was chatting with about this. But what you can do is you can take a CSV file, and you can see what the value is here, what the file format is here, and you can create these in mass if you know you're going to need to create a lot of these. So, you know, for example, /tilde Bilbo slash oops, you know, so that kind of thing right there. So that's the format that it is for. And so I'll just try and do a few of these. We'll do 10. Frodo. Merry. Pippin. 2-piece. All right. Make sure that this is right. The only thing that I'm worried about is this. It's in one cell, so that always worries me. Although that's what the file format says that it's supposed to be, so that unnerves me. I think, Sarah, it only will show the 404s that you are setting up, but I'm gonna actually look at this tomorrow and see, since I did test it out with that custom 404 error page. I'm curious as to what that answer is as well, because I'm just not sure what content or what data it's going to read from that customizer area versus the redirection plugin itself. So I'm curious about that myself. I think it's the redirection 404s, but that's something I want to check tomorrow. All right, so let's go File, Save As. We'll set this up in my downloads as redirects dot. Whoops, gotta set this to a CSV. .csv. We'll save it. Open my downloads over here. Okay. So I've got that set. Let's go back to, as you can see, I've got a billion windows open down here. Okay, so let's go ahead and drag that into here. Import it to. So, and here's another thing, is I could automatically import it to a group. So because I did those /tildes, because I want to keep testing that out, mainly because Sarah is kind of like my test subject in what she's doing, I'm going to see if that works in mass. So, all right, I'm going to set that up. I'm going to say upload, say OK. Let's go back to my redirects. Oh, see? Some of them didn't come in right. Why didn't that come in correct? All right, so let's go to import export. Would it be that simple? Nope, I had the space in there. And it didn't give me any message about them not going up. So let's get rid of this. All right, too many. All right, let's try that import again. Finished importing. Let's take a look at the redirects. It's only grabbing the first one. See, this is that part about learning with Matt. Okay, looks like it should be right. Let's just try, just for the giggles. Let me see if it'll work if I get rid of those tildes. Okay. All right. I'm going to get rid of these two. So how you delete redirects, just so, because we're going to do these now, is you can click on the delete option right here. I'm going to do this in bulk, so I'm going to click on the two checkboxes, and then I'm just going to hit delete and apply, because I want to get rid of those two. And there they are. Also note that you have an edit option, so if you needed to go in and edit it, you could just click that, save it. You can also disable it, like if you want this redirect to no longer, work correctly. So in this case, gosh, you might have like a sign-up sheet or a seminar page or a conference page or something like that, and you only want it to redirect during a certain time frame. So like outside of the conference's like registration period, for example, you might have it set up to like anytime anybody hits a particular URL, you send them right to the conference page. And again, you can think of different reasons why you might do that, but then you could disable that redirect during a certain time. So, sign up period is from March to April. URL is live. Once April 1st hits, I could just set up a redirect that anybody who hits that conference page, they just get automatically redirected to a different page that's like, we're sorry, registration has completed, blah, 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 blah. Next March, the same thing happens. I could disable that during that March to April timeframe so that that page still lives, and then, again, re-enable it once that time frame was out. So you could do it that way where, you could redirect people just based on time of year kind of thing there. So, okay. Let's try this redirect again. Nope. Drop you back into here. Upload. I wonder why it is adding those quotes. Well, that's a mystery that's going to bug me. Too many commas? What? I don't think so. I have just that one comma right there. Right there. Ooh. A text editor, you say? File, open. Interesting. That's what it's coming over in there as well. So it is coming in. So like it's reading. This is what the Excel is telling me. See, folks, learn with Matt. All right, I'm going to close this. File, save as. I'm hoping that it saves as a CSV file. That'd be interesting. Because I did save it. So now let's see what happens when we try to pull it up. Delete. Okay. Import, export. Refresh. Drag in. Upload. Hey, what the biscuits is that? That worked. Thank you, Sarah. So Colleen, what I would say is, what is the end, like, from essentially what you would want to do is you could set up the spreadsheet without the tilde if you don't have the tilde in there. The only reason I was using the tilde as the example is, so in the case of Sarah's site with math, and we had this as well with chemistry, was they would have something like, train, math.wis.edu/tilde mat / something here. And that would take me to, obviously it's a page not found, but that would take me to Matt's staff page, essentially, my personal page. And so when math moves into WiscWeb, this URL will no longer exist. And in WordPress, this type of URL isn't allowed. But people might still use this /tilde mat. And so what I would say is set up a, if somebody's going to hit stat.wisc.edu /tilde mat, redirect to / faculty or to /mat-goins, because that's what my faculty staff page would end up being. So the tilde is just a representation of a type of directory value when it comes to setting up those sub pages for people, or sub sites in this case for people. The spreadsheet is useful if you have a lot that you need to redirect. If it's just 10 or so, I would just dump them right into here. It's pretty quick. But if you've got hundreds, the spreadsheet might be the easier way to go, because that way you'd have a record of doing it and something that you can go back and edit easily before uploading the full thing. That's there. And then groups. The groups just has to do with how do you want to group them together when you want to look at them as a whole. So if I'm looking at my redirects as a whole, this is everything. But if I want to, say, reassign these to the faculty sites, save, these all now exist in that particular group. And if I ever wanted to view easily the redirects that are happening within a particular group, because again, in the case of what Sarah's going to be working on, this list, whoops, all groups. Why is that acting weird to me? Sorry. So right now I'm up to 7 redirects. That list is going to get into the hundreds for some sites, because of the way that domains were handled when it came to like those kind of subdirectories for folks. That's a lot to try to manage in this one list. So grouping them together just makes it a little bit easier for you to easily check them. So I guess to come back around to answer that as my brain is catching up with it, what is the redirect purpose? Spreadsheet will work well if you have a lot, if like it's a large number of them. Don't worry about the tilde. The tilde was just me doing a little example of the math department setup, and other departments have done this as well, but like the math department is fresh in my brain because we just talked about this yesterday. And then using the groups just allows you to group them together to easily view where those redirections have occurred. So again, if I just look at the faculty sites one, I only have those. So yeah, so what I would say is you would do something like this, where if it's /tilde Bilbo /tilde Frodo, Merry, Pippin, Legolas, you would use the tilde like that. And then the redirect would be wherever you want it to redirect in. So in your case, so for why it keeps not refreshing for me. Do that back here. Because it just keeps sticking to just the group that I'm looking at there. So in your case, it'd be, stat.wis.edu /tilde goins / and then you'd want it to go to here. So if I view this page, you'd want it to go to here. And then add that redirect. I still don't think this is going to work because of the WordPress trying to be smart for me. But if I go to /tilde goins, hey, it did work. So that's how that would work there. Okay. Let's see. Anything else in here to look at? Options. I don't think you guys need to worry about anything with the option. Oh, hey. Look at that. Time to keep logs 4. You can have these logs deleted after a certain time if you wanted to. I think we just, for WiscWeb, we just leave these as, but you can take a look at that stuff there. Obviously, as you can see on my screen, there is an update, so I'm going to take a look at the changelog for that, and we will probably get this updated, I would probably say next week or so. That was really it. I just kind of wanted to walk through that scenario and specifically with the conversation that I had yesterday with Sarah, and obviously Colleen, you asking these questions as well. It is when you are migrating into WiscWeb and the way that WiscWeb has our staff set up, those redirects become necessary, because so long as the domain isn't changing, so like you're going from math.wis.edu, stat.wis.edu, chem.wis.edu, history, etc. So long as that domain part doesn't change, everything is still relative beneath it. So, math.wis.edu /Goins is still /Goins, and you can still redirect it to another relative URL. You could, and this is something to consider as well, because I know a number of faculty members do have their own Google sites. They do have their own external hosted sites. You could take a peek at this pass through as well and see if that's something that you'd want, where like if they hit /Goins, if they go to https://www.mattshomepage.com and it just flies right by. You just direct them right to that particular location as well. So that's something to think about as well, because I know a number of faculty do tend to have their own sites as well. Yeah, I think that's it. Any questions? Like I said, there is the whole. I'm gonna put this in the KB doc. I'm gonna link off to this particular one here. There is a lot more to redirection. There's the whole regex. There's the URL, not the URL, but the case matching. There's wildcards. You can just see there are a lot of different things in here to take a peek at that I couldn't get too deep into in the time I have right now. But I know that there is the wildcard one is the one where I was thinking, if you really just wanted to like do a catch-all, like, you might want to put a wildcard in there and just be like, we're working on it. Please use the search feature to find the person that you're looking for within our new site. That kind of idea as well. And again, don't underestimate the that 404 error page. Because I think you could get a lot done with a very pointed 404 error page. I'm trying to think. There's another one that we used as like a demo. It's going to completely escape my brain now. Yeah. I don't know. Now, see, this is the standard one here. History uses. I know what it is. So here's one from Limnology. They're just letting you know they updated the website in 2018. Update your link or let the site know. If you can't find it, contact them. Otherwise, they actually have they created a form for you to basically let them know how did they get here and help fix it. So again, 404 error pages can do a lot with those. So I would say get one of those set up as well, even if you are going to be using the redirects in there from that standpoint. Okay, I think I will stop there. I'll hang out for a few minutes if anybody has any specific questions or anything they want me to throw at the wall here. But otherwise, that was it. That was just a quick rundown of what you can do within the redirection plugin. Again, it is self-service activated, so you can turn it on yourself. Turn it on, poke at it a little bit, and see if you can set up a few. You can always do the mass import after the fact. So, yeah, just take a look at that and kind of go at it. And again, as always, everybody knows my email. I should say everybody. It's pretty easy to find my email address because I'm the one who's usually emailing out to everybody. If you have questions or if you want to chat about this further, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Have a good day, everybody. I pasted the support, that redirection support. I pasted that into the chat as well if anybody wanted to grab that quick before they left.